You finally come up for air from a 2-hour Zillow scroll fest like it's TikTok and wonder why you're no closer to your home buying goals. This and other sneaky good intention tasks or habits are actually stopping you from getting your new home this year. But don't worry, awareness is that first step to getting on the right path, and I got you covered in this video today. You want to finally accomplish your goal of getting your home this year, but it seems like Zillow pulls you into a new rabbit hole every time you sit down for a research session. And there's nothing wrong with you. That's a good place to start when you are just dabbling into the market. But if you're ready to get serious, I want you to get off of Zillow, unmarry from it for a little while, and realize that it's actually keeping you in this cycle, in this loop, because it's all about the platform, at least, is all about getting you sucked in and keeping you there with all the great information that they share. You assume that you're making progress, but in reality, you are just feeding their system for more marketing in the future. And you can't actually really take action unless you get connected with a realtor who gives you some homework to do early in the process to ensure that you're able to qualify for a home as soon as possible. So take a moment and think for me. Whenever you have these research sessions on Zillow or any other search site that you're using for your new home, do you feel like you are actually prepared? Do you know what your next steps are? Typically, the answer is no, because there's not much education on these sites when it comes to the actual search of homes. And you need to get connected with someone who's in the industry ready to help you so that you can actually take action that moves you forward. We're all about moving forward this year and not just doing focused actions that don't get us anywhere. And trust me, I say this with love and I say it from experience. 5 years ago, my husband and I actually went down this journey ourselves when we purchased our first home in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So we actually didn't know at the time that we started on this journey that we were qualified to purchase a home that year. Actually, when we started the process in May, it only took us a couple of months to get into our home by September. We were nowhere near having 20% saved up for our down payment. Our credit scores are not stellar. And every time I even dreamed about getting a new home, my student loans laughed in my face. But once we got connected to a realtor who then also connected us to a few loan officers and submitted applications, we learned that we could qualify for a home that year, and a good one too. Relying on our own knowledge actually had us stuck in thinking that we were unable to get a new home. We were operating off of this assumption that stopped us from making progress maybe sooner. I'd like to think that it was all perfect timing and aligned, but I want you to realize if you are stuck in this process alone and you haven't reached out to an expert to get help, you're probably thinking that things are out of reach that are actually in reach for you. In reality, there's actually tons of options for young, unestablished, and first-time home buyers. So get off of Zillow, get into the real world, and start talking to experts who can let you know where you're at on your journey. Even if you're not where you think you need to be, once you get connected with them, they can tell you the simple steps that can probably get you there in 3 to 6 months. Literally, it could be that easy. Now, if we're being honest, you might not even be tapping into the emotional side that's keeping you stagnant. Your heart and your mind might be wanting to move on to the next phase of your living arrangement, but deep down, you don't want to start over even if it's in the same city. It's easy to become complacent, and that's human nature. We inherently resist change unless we program our mind to see the positive potential on the other side of our decision. And trust me, I know what it's like trying to buy a new home where you're still living with a renting mindset. That mindset can hold you back when you don't realize what the root cause is. For me, I had to think about this for a while, and I realized when I was younger, in my family home, there were small maintenance issues that would pop up, and my parents would not address them because they were small things. But over time, those small things started to build up and they became a huge inconvenience because they had been neglected. But once they were all finally addressed, it ended up being a bigger issue and obviously a bigger financial commitment and time commitment to get those things fixed. Some things like those pesky garage doors and alley gates are the worst. Those take forever to repair. And I distinctly remember being tasked to jump out of the car and help raise the garage door when we came home. Thinking back to those experiences, I did not want to be a homeowner if those were the things I had to look forward to. Knowing that I would constantly have small maintenance issues that needed to be addressed in order to have a well balanced and nurturing and peaceful home that served me and not me adjusting to its needs that were always all over the place and nonstop. I wasn't interested in owning a home Having that renting mindset made me feel comfortable and at ease at the fact that I didn't have to take care of a lot of things that I normally would have to worry about as a homeowner. That was a reality that I had to face down the line. First, had to get into a home. I had to find the resourcefulness and the confidence in myself to be able to get a home that I could love and care for. And those maintenance things would be a lot more reasonable because it was for my own space that I wanted to make as great as possible. And that all started with changing my mindset from being a renter to a homeowner and also trusting my future self to be resourceful and patient with taking care of all the maintenance issues of my home. Side note, we will have another video talking about that in the future. So if you're a current homeowner, we'll have some tips for you on how to maintain your home. And then as a home buyer or a future home buyer, you can learn about what to look forward to so you can feel a little bit more confident about that part of the process. Also, partially thanks to that experience, I ended up coming up with some journal prompts that helped me learn to change my mindset so that I would be better prepared as a homeowner, but also to become the person who had that identity of home ownership. It seems really hard to change your mindset for certain things, but honestly, it's all about telling yourself positive and affirming things that help your mind to believe that it's true. And that is something that could be done through journaling. There's so many other ways, but journaling is the most accessible because most people know what to do, are familiar with the concepts, and it happens to be very successful. So I actually created a list of journal prompts if you want to download those for free so that you can start to work on your mindset and get out of that stuck Zillow scrolling phase and actually start to make progress towards getting your new home. You might have some apprehension, some hesitation that's stopping you from getting to that next step. But having some type of tool or resource like some journal prompts will set you on the path to take those steps in your plan, and it will be so much easier, so much more accessible because you'll have that inner confidence from rewriting the narrative in your head that you are deserving, you're ready, you're willing, and you're capable of being the successful homeowner that you can be. I did this for myself when we purchased our home, and it made all the difference in the world. So I have faith that you can do it too. Okay. But the last thing that I think is holding people back, which is also tied to your mindset and having you think that you're safe, is waiting for a better career move, a life change, or the economy to change. In actuality, those things are so ever changing, so flippant that you do not want to rest all of your progress and all of your success in becoming a new homeowner based on external factors that you cannot control. When you realize that these things do not make you deserving, capable, or competent to be a new homeowner, you quickly realize that you can let any hesitations that you have go and make this process your own. When it comes to career changes, your career can change at any time. You could be, God forbid, laid off from your job and it not be a decision that you made on your own. You could have a medical emergency and it causes you to have to decrease your work hours or leave your job where you have most of your income coming in that would cover a mortgage. Keep it in mind that you have the skill sets, the competency, and the ability to get another job and be successful in that new role so that you can cover your mortgage, or understanding that there are programs out there that help people fill the gap in covering their mortgage while they're looking for a new job. You have more confidence and security in knowing even without a full-time career, you can still do what's important to you, which is pay your mortgage and keep a roof over your family's heads. And when it comes to economic changes, as we know, we see fluctuations in the market all the time. Interest rates are going up. Interest rates are going down. Gas prices are going up. Gas prices are going down. Food prices are going up and they're also going down. There's always going to be changes, whether you're in your new home or not. Recognizing that if you are personally prepared, whether it's a high market or low market, and this is the right time for you to purchase, all the numbers make sense, I say go for it. So don't let that impact your decision because you are worried about where the market is. And guess what? When the market goes back down, you can refinance your home so that your interest rate lowers as well, which ultimately lowers your monthly payments. There's always going to be options and there's always opportunities as long as you are confident in your resourcefulness and your commitment to stay in your home. And even if you're someone now who feels like you're not at that place, guess what? This journey is a great teaching process, not just for you to experience it and flounder, but for you to rise to the occasion, to realize this is something that is important to you. And this is something that you are going to make work because it is your home, it is your abode, it is your place of peace. That will give you the strength that you need to evolve your mindset to be the kind of person, to build that identity, to take on that personality as someone who is going to protect their home, provide for their family with a roof over their heads, and security, and knowing that you can stay in your space no matter what obstacles, trials, and tribulations come your way. People are faced with financial burdens, life changes all the time that may negatively affect where they live. But through prayer, through resourcefulness, through God's providence, and through your commitment, you can stay in your home. There are options out there, so don't let that stop you. So if you're wondering how you can break free from this stagnant mindset where you feel like Zillow Scroll might start off as productive research, but then you realize you have no next steps, or you realize that you feel comfortable where you're currently living, because it might feel like you're starting over once you actually start this process to move into a different space. It could be that you have fear about going from a renter's mindset to a homeowner's mindset because of all the responsibility that comes along with it. Or how about you are so worried about external factors that might affect your decision, whether it be lifestyle changes, career changes, or the economy. These things, you can't break away from them. You can have a drama-free home buying and homeowner journey with the right steps. Stick around for my next video. Just click the link below or at the end of this video to see how we can start to build the right mindset that gets us to the other side of the journey without the drama. I know you hear all the time about people on a roller coaster when they're buying their home, about how it's such an unpredictable process. But when you realize that being empowered with knowledge and the right plan gets you there faster and more effectively and confidently, all of that worry will melt away. So I'll see you in the next video.